What if someone in solitary confinement could see the world again? I mean, it's a question, right? The UN has named it one of the most cruelest forms of punishment, and yet it's still so commonly used in the US. A room the size of an elevator that's designed to remove human contact. The cell's only connection to the outside world is a slit on the door. That's how food, mail, sound, and even light, they just seep through. And you know, over 122,000 people are in solitary on any given day for 22 to 24 hours a day. That's more people than the entire population of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Some for days, months, years, even decades. And just 15 days in solitary can cause aggression, depression, anxiety, symptoms similar to PTSD. It's a vicious cycle of punishment and isolation. And yet, somehow, they're expected to just walk out of there and live a normal life. But one California prison, they're doing things differently. They've brought the outside world inside through virtual reality. It took Sabra Williams, the founder of Creative Acts, a year of convincing to get Meta to donate VR headsets.
We were trying to bring the outside inside.
And then came the real question: would this program actually work? Now, when we think of solitary, we usually think of the worst of the worst. And yeah, sometimes. But that's not always true. People get sent to solitary because they're struggling with their mental illness, or they're awaiting trial, or they need protection. I mean, if something as small as cursing can get you in solitary, then maybe we have to rethink the way that we help people through it. And that's what this program is doing with psychology, art, and, well, a headset. It's an intensive for 7 days a week, 4 hours a day. And the goal is to use the VR to trigger a harsh emotion that then they need to interpret through art. This is how Sabra explains their approach to those emotions.
We use poetry, theater, painting, music, even dance, to help them transform those emotions and get used to the, I would say, forbidden emotions inside of prison, fear and sadness in particular. Because if you're not fully exercising all your four base emotions, happy, angry, sad, afraid, you're not going to be successful when you come home because you won't know how to deal with them.
Some of these people have spent decades incarcerated, and they've missed out on countless technological advances. And when they put on this headset, they're forced to face how much this world has changed. I mean, imagine you spend day after day staring at a concrete wall, and then all of a sudden, you see Earth from space. Suddenly, that tiny cell felt even smaller. The four walls that held them turned into an endless abyss. Or they found themselves drifting down a river in Thailand, surrounded by the bluest waters and breathtaking monuments. And that's when it clicks, right? There's a bigger world out there.
Often people are crying when they take the headset off because they say that I didn't know the world was beautiful like this.
For one man, this became the choice that he had to make every time that he stepped out into the yard. It became a metaphor.
We had a young man who doesn't really have much juice in his gang, so he was saying that when he goes on the yard, he's told what to do, and he just does what he's told to do. But he said after seeing Thailand for the first time, he realizes that when he goes to the yard, he's at a crossroads, right? So he said this crossroads for him is now Thailand or trouble. So he said, if I take that right turn into trouble, I'm always going to be in trouble. But if I decide not to, I'm taking the turn to Thailand.
But not every experience is a positive one. As the days go on, they get more personal, more uncomfortable. All of a sudden, they're walking down a busy street in New York City and someone bumps into them. And inside, they're all very hyper aware of their space because there's barely any to begin with. And then the emotions come up. The anger, the frustration, I want to yell, I want to push the person back. But that person isn't really there. When they take off their headsets, somebody asks them how they feel and why do they feel that way? And then they go on to do an art project. So in this case, it could be an acting technique where they walk around the stage with other people aware of everybody else's surrounding. With each day, it's a new experience. It's your release day, or the first Thanksgiving back with your family and things are awkward, or it's your turn to pay at a grocery store and you have no idea how to do it. Do you know what a boggart is from Harry Potter? It's kind of like having to confront that. It's facing your biggest fear and turning it into something different. But where do these scenarios come from? Well, not only do they ask participants what are the moments that they're most anxious to face, But they also ask formerly incarcerated people what was the moment that surprised them, that triggered their anxiety. Like Major Bunton, when he got out, he wrote a whole release plan without even realizing how much this world had changed.
When I came home doing time, my goal was I had a preparation list of all the things I wanted to do. I had like a parole plan. I wanted to make sure that I had this thing laid out and I could cover all these, these things. And when I got home, I never thought about technology. I was like, don't worry about that. It's not gonna be problems. And when I came home, it was just like, it just shocked me. It threw me off. It made me feel so like you thought you were prepared. And it scared me to the heighten of it.
There's a digital divide between the outside world and those incarcerated. And the more technology advances, the wider that gap becomes. But programs like this, they help close it. You see, before they can even have their first VR experience, they have to figure out how to use it. How do I turn this on? How do I navigate? It's a crash course on technology in an environment that is so ancient. I mean, we're talking about a building that has cell phone blockers. They have old TVs and there's no Wi-Fi.
This is going to be very difficult. And also you can't bring in phones or computers so I was like, wow. But luckily we had 3 wardens who've been like, yeah, I'm willing to take the risk because we've got to do something different. So they said, okay, you can bring in the headsets. And then I was like, well, in order for them to work, we need a computer and a phone. But, we're pretty good stewards of programs, been doing it 20 years, never had an incident. And we are very respectful of rules. And then we side-loaded the headsets. So that means we put all the content on before we went there because there's no internet. And then it was not good because the headsets, there's a lot of metal and concrete and the headsets were not working great because of that.
And that effort was worth it because this program worked. And Sabra and Major were shocked. Not only did Meta come see the program and donate hundreds more headsets so that people could continue to participate in the program, but one of the prisons ended up closing one of their solitary wings. I mean, even prison staff asked them, what did you do to completely transform people?
After solitary confinement, they're sent back to the regular prison yards where they caught their, RVR, which is a rule violation. They move different, they think different. They start to think about all the tools that we've given them. And from what I've learned, because I get the responses back from the guys, after months, 5, 6 months, hey Major, thank you so much, man. I thank you and the Creative Acts team for just really giving me time to really understand what I was going through. It's almost like accountability now, right? It's this small accountability that they want to hold on to because they found somebody that believed in them. Mm-hmm. An organization that saw them as human beings, and that made them feel wanted, and it made them feel like they were human, and they want more of that.
So if this program works, why aren't there more of them? Prison programs are often seen as privileges or rewards, not as necessities. And so, as you know, they become very vulnerable to budget cuts. But if the goal is rehabilitation, shouldn't we invest in programs that change behavior? But in the darkest corners of the system, where people become invisible, a headset, a poem, a moment of beauty can really bring them back. It reminds them that they never really left the world and that they're still human. And maybe I'm overly positive, but maybe this is how you teach someone to walk out of a cell and never return. You offer hope. You offer a choice: trouble or Thailand.